Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, our next topic today is going to be on Mad al-Arad al-Sukun. And if you remember, this is the next category of the mads that we are going to be covering, which come under Mad al-Fara'i, right? So what is Mad al-Arad al-Sukun? It's this mad occurs when there is only one letter after one of the three mad letters. It is the last letter of the word, and this last letter has any vowel on it. And we are stopping on the last letter by presenting it a sukoon. So Mad al-Arad al-Sukun is to mean presented sukoon. Okay, the sukoon is presented to it. That means the sukoon is not original sukoon. An original sukoon is the sukoon that is already there on the word. You don't have to present it. In Mad al-Arad al-Sukun, you are presenting the sukoon to the word. Okay. Now look, let me show you here that this mad, when I talk about this mad, I'm going to give you an example here in Surah Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now see, Alameen, right? It was Al-Alameen. Now, you see, between the meme and noon, there is a mad letter, ya, right? The ya is the mad letter here. It is surrounded, the mad letter ya is surrounded on both the sides with two letters that have harak on it. Okay, they are not mad letters. So it is surrounded by consonants. Consonants jo kehte hain English mein, right? The ya is the vowel, which is a mad letter. In Arabic, it's called mad. And the letters meme and noon are the letters which are not mad letters. They are consonant letters. So now you see, when you stop at al-alameen, this ya now can be stretched to 2, 4, or 6 counts. Okay, provided you are stopping at the ayah, at the end of the ayah, because in some recitations, not some recitations, in some ways of recitation, you can join ayahs depending on your on your level, right? If you can join two ayahs and read, you can do that, right? So you don't have to do Mad al-Arad al-Sukun when you're joining. But when you're stopping here, the last word, al-alameen, can be stretched to 2, 4, or 6 counts. Okay? So, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This was my regular one, which is 4 counts. But people can stretch it to 6 counts. Al-alameen. Okay? Or you can do to just 2 counts. When you have hadar, the recitation of hadar, and people want to go fast, finish the Quran fast, so they make their mads shorter, right? So al-alameen. Okay, so you have the option 2, 4, or 6 counts. But for Hafs, I would recommend that we lengthen it to 4 counts, because we have rules. We have priorities in our mads too. We have priorities. There's a hierarchy. There is a way of doing the mad. So we have to maintain the mad so that we don't exceed one mad and we don't shorten another mad. We don't give more weightage to one mad and when it should not be given. So I'll explain it to you, inshallah. But this mad is to be lengthened 2, 4, or 6 counts. And when you are not stopping on it, the last letter is read without the vowel it has on it. Okay? Okay? So here, if I'm not stopping, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, so what did I do here? I continued, but I still made Al-Alameen the regular 2 counts. Okay, the regular 2 counts. Okay, now look at this next one. This is, now when I'm stopping in the word as-samai, what do I do? In the required attached mad, when the hamza that follows the mad letter Okay, here if you see, actually this is, you will say this letter is as-samai. Is what kind of a mad is it? It is mad muttasil, right? Because you have the mad letter, and you have the mad letter, and you have the hamza here. You have the mad and you have the hamza in the same word. So it is actually what? It's a mad muttasil. But when you stop at this word as-sama, then what do you do? When the so in the required attached mad, when the hamza that follows the mad letter is the last letter of the word, and the reader is stopping on the word, that is, you're stopping on that hamza, because now the hamza has a presented sukoon. The lengthening can be 4 or 5 counts, or it can also be 6 counts. Okay, if you don't stop at this word, then it would have been just 4 counts, right? If I didn't stop as-samai, it would have been just 4 counts. If I'm stopping at this word, I have the option of stretching it 4, 5, or 6 counts. I cannot do 2 counts. Okay, I cannot make this 2 counts. It has to be 4, 5, or 6 counts. Okay. Okay, that was Madil Abdul Sukun, and we have more to it. Inshallah, we will discuss this, and we'll just do Mad Leen, and we'll come back to the hierarchy, like what you need to pay attention to when you're doing your Mads. Okay, the next one is Mad Leen, and Leen means ease. Okay, there's ease in this. So Mad Leen, it occurs when a Leen letter, we know the Leen letters are Waw and Ya with the Sukun. And when the when the letter waw and ya are preceded, that is before the waw sukoon and the ya sukoon, there is a fatha, then you will make the sound of a mad. And this mad will not be 2 counts. This will not be the length of 2 counts. It will be a little less. Okay. When I do harf leen, it will be 1.5 count. Okay. Now, when you do mad leen here, this is a little different from harf leen. Harf leen is, if I say Quraysh, right? Quraysh, the word Quraysh, the ra with the fatha is coming before ya sukoon. So this ya sukoon is a harf. Okay, harf leen. Now, if I'm stopping at Quraysh, li'ilafi Quraysh. Now, what I'm doing is I'm making a stop at the word Quraysh, and I'm using the mad letter. Let's look at here. Okay, here we have the example here. Okay, so here I'm seeing a ya sukoon before the ra, and the ya is not a madya, it's a linear, right? Because ya sukoon preceded by a fatha is a linear. Ya sukoon preceded by a kasra is a madya. Okay, so here you see ya sukoon is preceded by a fatha in the word Quraysh, right? So it is allowed to lengthen this mad 2, 4, or 6 counts when stopping on this word. Okay, when continuing reading, that is when you're not stopping, there is a slight lengthening of the leen letter, and this lengthening will be only 1.5 counts. It will be less than 2 counts. See, as they have mentioned here. This is referred by the scholars as madma, which is less than 2 vowel counts but longer than 1 vowel count. So between 1 and 2, so it is 1.5. Okay, so now let me repeat this again so that you're not confused. If you look at the word li'ila fi Quraysh, remember this is the li'ila fi Quraysh. So I'm stopping at Quraysh, and I have between ra and sheen a linear. So if I'm stopping at the word Quraysh, I have the option of of stretching this mud to 2, 4, or 6 counts. But if I don't stop here and I continue, I'll say لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. Okay, I'll continue. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. قُرَيْشٍ. So here the قُرَيْشٍ will be the mud harf, the harf ya is a harf leen. So this will be stretched to 1.5 counts. So it will only be stretched to 2, 4, or 6 counts when I'm stopping. Okay, the same here. وَآمَنَهُمْ مِنْ خَوْفٍ. Here, khawf, I can stretch the wow here. The khaw, I can stretch it to 2, 4, or 6 counts. So the difference between mad leen and harf leen. Okay, if I don't stop at khawfin, then I will read only to 2 counts. I'll say khawfin, khaw. This is not 2 counts. This is little more than one count, 1.5 count. Okay. So we will inshallah stop here, and then we'll go over the grades next class. Next class we will go over the grades of. We'll give the weightage, the hierarchy matlab the levels of the levels given to the different ways of stopping, the different muds. Okay, which has more weightage, okay, which has more priority. We'll prioritize the mud in the next class, inshallah. You can stop the recording. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم